Hello and welcome everybody to the top 5 nostalgic maps that I could possibly think of. Now, I am basing these solely on nostalgic properties, meaning 1, they have to make me feel happy whenever I play them, and 2, they have to have some good memories tied with them as well. So, any other criteria is off the table for this specific video. But if you do have a list for yourself, I would actually love to see what your guys' list is, because that was kind of like the whole reason why I made this, is because I want to hear everybody's nostalgic, not their favorite, their nostalgic ones that you think of, they make you happy, ones that you think of that like brings back good memories of like a time when you were younger or something like that. So if you guys want to participate, by all means hit it in the comments below. But without any further ado, let's get into it. Now, I thought about this video like a while back, but I never really did anything with it because I didn't really know how people would think about it, because nostalgic is a very subjective term in terms of like from people to people, person to person is what I meant. But from the majority, I would say everybody can agree that nostalgic is usually good. You know what I mean? Like, whenever you hear something that makes you nostalgic, you're like, oh, I remember those times. Oh, that was good. I remember when it used to be good. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? So I decided to make a list of 5 nostalgic maps that I remembered from back in the day that I truly love to play, no matter what. They will always make me feel happy. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to exclude Black Ops 3, Cold War, anything after Black Ops 3, because those are technically not, for me at least, because I am older, well, 24, but I am older, therefore those ones are a little bit newer to me, so I don't really have any connection to those. But the maps that I have listed here are definitely ones that I can say are very nostalgic for me. So, in number 5, we got ourselves Duriz. Now, I think everybody can agree that Duriz is, one, a pretty solid map. I don't want to say good, because good means, you know, good. And I know a handful of people that are not a huge fan of it. But regardless of that, it's a solid map that a lot of people know and a lot of people come back to. Hell, even Treyarch did with the Giant. And there was the classified custom map that someone did that was phenomenal. I'll try to get their username, because they actually followed the stream once upon a time. You can ask Peach about it, because he jumped in when we were playing it. So it was a wonderful time. But regardless of that, Duriz is a good solid map, because I remember back when the Xbox 360 Black Ops 1 Resurrection Pack, I believe it was called, came out. And because we did not have World at War 1. And we were playing Duriz, and it was like a turn-based thing. Like, we would play for 5 rounds until we would die, and then we would go back, trade off the controller to another brother, so on and so forth. It's one of the few maps that I personally share a connection with my brothers with, which means a lot to me. Like, familial bonds are like huge for me when it comes to video games, along with just life in general. So Duriz was definitely high on the list, but it definitely was not on the other ones, as I will explain later. But Duriz was a very good one, because it was just a lot of laughs, a lot of good memories, and I honestly can't really say anything bad about Duriz, because even though the catwalk thing is a thing, it's not enough for me to be like, oh, it's awful, wow, this is the word, oh, get it out of my, like, no, it's a good, fun map to play, period. Yeah! Number 4 for me is more personal, not really familial, but it's very personal for me, because I don't really know a lot of people that like it as much as I do, and that is 5. 5 on BO1, not on BO4, not on BO4. But 5 on BO1 was very, very nostalgic for me, because it for some reason was the first map that I thought to myself, like, this is fun. This is really fun. Like, there are obviously I have 3 more, but like, this is a lot of fun. It's definitely something that whenever I booted it up, I knew that I was going to be able to have a good time. One, because I always had, when I was younger, I always had the challenge of, okay, I don't want the Pentagon thief to steal my gun. I want to see if I can kill him. And that was like a huge goal for me for the longest time. And I've been able to do it, thankfully, ever since. And I have been able to find a few people who enjoy it as well. But 5, I feel like, is very underrated, and if anything, underappreciated. It's very straightforward, very linear. You don't want to be in the corridors, of course, but the main training area, the first elevator you go down, and the set of stairs that you go down, is exactly what I remember the most, and it's exactly where I remember spending so much of my time training, getting points, trying to survive as long as I possibly could. It was one of the first maps that I made it to round 50 by myself back in the day, and that is a huge, huge... I'm blanking. Why am I blanking? Oh, why am I blanking? Accomplishment for me. I guess I don't use that word often. For me, back when I was first playing zombies, because I was not good at zombies, as everybody was when they first started. If you were good at zombies to begin with, like, I'm one, whatever you're having. Number 3 is also pretty personal, in the sense of it broke new grounds, it broke new boundaries, and it definitely put a new, different atmosphere into the world, and that is Origins. Origins for BO2. It is definitely one of the first maps that I was in awe whenever I played it, because not only of the sheer size of it, because unless you guys can correct me, Origins was probably one of the biggest maps that had come out, disregarding Transit, because like Transit is technically like 4 maps combined, but regardless, it's still one map. But Origins was one of the biggest maps that blended together and introduced Papa Panzer, someone that I probably crapped my pants to when I first saw him. But it was a very good like indication of like zombies is doing good. I cannot wait. Like, it was the map that made me say I cannot wait for the next zombies game. I cannot wait for Call of Duty and Treyarch to make new things, because I think we can all agree Die Rise didn't do that for us. Transit, for a handful of people, did it for them, not for me. I didn't really enjoy it. But Origins was like a huge stepping stone of like, this is what we're able to do now. This is how big that we're able to do it, the scale that we want to do things now. And whenever I play it on the BO2 version, not the BO3 version, but the BO2 version without the Easter egg, it brings me back to when I first played it, and when I was first watching people play it and do the Easter egg and finding the stats and upgrading them and everything, watching the tutorials, doing the step-by-step guide, and just like remembering how it once was and how it used to be back in the day before BO3 happened with all its grandiose Easter eggs and maps and all that. Number 2 is a pretty simple one that I think a lot of us can agree on, and that's Nocturne Doten. Nocturne Doten is the first Call of Duty Treyarch Zombies map that had ever been created, and I feel like that alone, if you're a zombies lover like I am, that alone just invokes some memory of like, this is where it all started, this is where my love of zombies started. And like, I honestly feel like you can't really hate, this is my opinion, obviously, you can't really hate on Nocturne Doten for that literal fact of it was number 1. It was the number 1, the first, the OG, the Big Papa G, Big Papa before Papa Panzer came out. That is exactly what I feel like whenever I think of Noct. Yes, it's very boring and once you get into it, and now that you're older and you've played all these other maps, but what they did at the time, what they had, and the ambition of making zombies in general all started on Noct. And I don't honestly think anybody can hate Nocturne Doten for that reason, because without Noct, I don't know if zombies would exist without Noct, because obviously it was the first map ever, and it was beautifully tied into the story mode, the campaign, if you would, of World at War. And it was just awesome. It really was like, what is this? What? I thought the campaign was over. Why am I still... What? Like, that is exactly what I love about zombies. And what I still love about zombies is the horror, hopeless, miserable feeling of being trapped on a map, with zombies that are enemies that are trying to kill you, specifically zombies, but it will never be replaced as the number one. And honestly, it's a very good number one. Like, for an OG map as zombies, I truly feel like Nocturdome did exactly what it was supposed to do to launch zombies into what it is now. And for my final and number one, I'm sure everybody who knows me can guess it, is Kino der Untoten. Kino is, and I will die on this hill, the best map ever made, in my honest opinion. One, because I just truly love that map. And two, it has the absolute most nostalgic property for me. Because remember, this is about nostalgic. And I know I've been saying how good things are, but that's because they're very nostalgic for me. Even though I kind of got rid of the whole nostalgic word at number 5. But regardless, Kino is 100% the number one nostalgic one, because it is the only map that I remember playing consecutively on repeat for days and weeks with my brothers. And nothing can replace the memories of dolphin diving from the top of the stairs, going all the way to the bottom, red screening, dying, and having my brothers scream at me because I was a fucking idiot. Nothing can replace that, because I was having so much fun with them. They were having fun as well, yelling at me. We were laughing. We were all scared of the zombies as well. That's the thing about it. Like, it was so much that I think it was my youngest sister, only sister, literally could not be in the same room because the zombies were so scary. And I can relate to that. I remember very much turning off my Xbox because I was terrified of zombies. Sorry, hit the pause button on accident. But I genuinely cannot replace Kino, and I cannot express how much I love Kino as a map, because it has so much emotional and personal connections with me that no other map can ever replace. And you know me, I have played every map except for BO4, of course, and World War II, because I just didn't get into it. But regardless of that, I have seen and I have played mostly every single map to ever exist up until this point. And Kino is still by far the best one that I've ever played. And if you do not agree, I completely understand. But remember, this is all nostalgic, personal reasons. So I would love to hear your guys' top 5, hell, even top 3, or just your number 1. Whatever you guys think is like your most nostalgic ones, the ones that you think back to, and you're like, I remembered playing with my brother. I remember playing with my sister. I remember I booted up Kino, or I remember I booted up Shangri-La, and I just graduated. And like stories like that, I love those feel-good stories because it's so genuine from you guys, and it's something that I love to hear. So if you guys want to share, by all means, put it in the comments down below. But these are my top 5 most nostalgic maps that I could possibly think of from BO1, World at War, and BO2. I might do another list for the other ones, like my favorite new ones. But regardless of that, these are the ones that I'm going to stick with right now. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching and for hanging out with me. I hope you guys leave a comment down below, because I would love to hear you guys' top 5s as well. But until the next video, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, drink your water and stay hydrated, because you need to keep that body healthy, especially during these trying times, which is every day. And as always, I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Bye, guys. Bye-bye. See you later, my dudes.